And Nick, don't confuse smart with math. They're a bunch of really dumb mathematicians. I kid you not.
Oh yeah. Well, intelligence is complex. There's different kinds.
Yes, very much so. And I'm not talking about the unwashed, uncombed hair kind of person.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Okay, so we have essentially a custom program for you guys this evening. We thought I've definitely heard the Toccata in Fugue in D minor is a favorite, so I thought we would start with that.
I'm sorry.
No, absolutely, why not?
And you play it so well. I love the way you play it.
Oh, thank you.
I kind of just hacked through it on the Halloween concert. And you play it really nicely and polished and refined, so it'll be a real treat.
Yeah, so I thought we would start with that. We've got some other Bach works. I thought we'd include some of the chorale preludes that I played in the concert program. Some Bach and some others, just to use some of the colors on the organ. And Nicholas said that Sine Nomine is one of your favorites from the John Weaver Sine Nomine. So I thought that would be a fun closer to end with. Have a nice jazzy. And it has a great pedal solo. You got some good pedal work in there too.
We are in your arms.
Okay, so here's Bach's Toccata in Fugue in D minor, BWV 565, classic.
room in the basement before we.
Oh, yeah, definitely a treat. Absolutely. Yeah, you have a full view of music and feet and hands, everything. Absolutely. Okay. So I thought next we'd have another Bach work, his Toccata in F, which has a couple of big pedal solos. So it has a really nice, just to make sure. So it opens with a canon between the right hand and the left hand over just a solid pedal point in F, and then there's a big pedal solo in F. And then there's another canon, but in C, between the right hand and the pedal. And then another big pedal solo in C, and then he goes into this Italian-style toccata after that. So it gets a little bit of everything. The counterpoint, the pedal solos, and just the nice free work. Good.
about the notes, Sarah, do you sort of have them captured in your fingers as opposed to your mind?
A little bit of both. Mostly mental for me. I'm much more of a reader. Like just objectively, I think I'm a very good sight reader, and it's funny because I have to have notes in front of me on the page. I really don't do well playing from memory, right? Like Nicholas obviously is fantastic playing from memory, right? You have that kind of side of the brain, and mine I have all these traumatic memories from my childhood and piano lessons, and just getting stuck in the exposition of something repeating in a loop and running away in tears.
Nightmare.
So it's funny, it can be something like the doxology that I've played, 5,000 times, and if it's not there. So there's a big component for sure from seeing it on the page, but also your brain just can't process it all that quickly, right? So you have to have a big component in your physical memory as well. So really, I think it's a good balance of both.
Because I watched your feet running the pedals, and at the same time, your hands were doing something too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And some of it is conscious, and some of it really is flowing along in muscle memory, or your brain just it sees the notes and processes them before you can even really think about it.
Yeah. If you think you're too late.
Right. But for some, especially for key moments, we intentionally create time for ourselves to think. Like there's a really dramatic, deceptive cadence here on the last page, and it's funny because it's a spot that I always have to think about, and it's a time where naturally you take more time with the music, particularly to emphasize that cadence and to highlight the unexpected quality of it. But it goes kind of hand in hand with how you process it as well, which I think is very interesting.
So you draw our attention to it too, by the way that you are moving.
Absolutely. And just by taking time and slowing into it, and accenting it. And
Yeah,
kind
I
of
didn't
using all
feel
the
it
tools
in
we
this
have.
piece, toccata and fugue. There are obviously some places where you're telling us something's going to happen.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
And then, well, I remember some held notes, and all of a sudden, boom!
right, and then it takes off the accelerando, and absolutely, yeah. Great.
You didn't know what you're getting yourself in for, did you?
Interview.
I love it. Okay, so let's do something a little quieter now. This is one of the chorale preludes I did in the concert. And this is based on the Christmas chorale, Lo How a Rose Are Blooming. You won't hear the chorale very much. It's hidden, the melody's really ornamented. So you won't necessarily hear it in the music, but the notes are all there, hidden in the melody. And this uses, for the accompaniment, it uses the beautiful string stops on the swell. So we get some really rich, very impressionistic harmonies. And then for the solo, I'm going to use a flute on grate, and I'm actually going to play it down an octave, so you might see a little bit of arm crossing going on. But that's what's happening there.
Do you need me for this for patron?
No.
I will enjoy.
Oh, and this is by a living Dutch composer, Margrethe Christina de Jong, and she's the civic composer for the town of Marburg in the Netherlands. But I believe that's right. And she's also been given a knighthood, the equivalent of a knighthood in the Netherlands for her work as a composer and performer. And she studied quite a bit in Paris, in the French school, but is very active now as both an organist and composer. So kind of combining music and chorales from the Netherlands with a very, very French, kind of almost post-romantic style. I hear a lot of influence from composers like Duraflé, and she's definitely one of my favorite women composers now. And the setting, it's beautiful. It's just 2 pages, but it's a really beautiful lyrical setting. This.
tension drain off. Very peaceful. And I did hear the melody.
You did?
Only about halfway through though, before.
Oh
I
yeah,
finally got
yeah,
it.
coming, yeah. So yeah, really, really nice setting of that.
Dion? Her name?
Oh,
Oh, Dijon. Oh, okay, got it.
yes. Sorry, my pronunciation.
No, my ears. That makes much more sense given the language.
We had a lot of the chorale A Mighty Fortress in the concert, and one of the settings was by a German composer, Helmut Walke, 20th century, and so Helmut Walke was blind from his teenage years, and so he was famous as both a performer and particularly as a pedagogue, really one of the most outstanding teachers that we have from the 20th century German tradition. And he performed, I think he recorded the complete works of Bach twice. Of course, from memory because he was blind, and he learned the contrapuntal works of Bach one voice at a time. So he would learn, say like the first voice of a fugue that comes in, and then learn the next voice, and then was able to play them and hear how they all overlaid vertically, which is just incredible. Yeah, so really, really one of the great organists from Germany in the 20th century. And so this is the setting of the chorale Mighty Fortress, and it's in canon as well. So you hear the chorale, the rhythmic version of the chorale in the pedal, and also in the right hand, and then little rhythmic snippets based on the chorale throughout as well. So it's really infused with the Mighty Fortress. Just thinking, want the trumpet in the pedal.
That's a good thing.
Let's do this, see if this works. If it doesn't work. Definitely a gem from Helmut Walke.
You have to send that one to me. I want to learn that one.
Oh, yeah.
Information once. Maybe not this year, but
Yeah.
sometime.
I'll give you this one. You can have it.
Oh, great.
Here,
Okay,
I'll just give it to you right now.
amazing. Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So next, I thought it would be nice to do a couple of the Bach chorales that I did in the concert. So one project that I'm working on right now is I'm learning the complete collection called Clavier 3, which is his collection, Bach's collection of catechism chorales, essentially. They're all catechism chorales and settings of various parts of the Mass. So there are some Kyrie and Gloria settings, as well as some chorales for things like baptism and communion, the Creed, the Ten Commandments, also all the components of Luther's Small Catechism in chorale form, basically. And then it's bookended by the Great Prelude and Fugue in E flat major, the St. Anne. So I'm playing them all at Christ Cathedral next March 3rd. Mark your calendars, because we're going to have a complete marathon day of the complete Bach works for organ. So about 18 hours. So I don't know what time I'll be playing yet, specifically in the day, but you can guarantee come by any time and you're going to hear some great Bach organ music, by performers from all over Southern California. So it's really going to be a fun day. If I'm away for all of it, but I think we're definitely going to have to do some shifts. But it really is going to be a great day. So, so my contribution is that I'm performing the complete Clav 3. And so here are two chorales from that. The first is a very cute little fuguetta on the chorale Dies sind die Heiligen Zehn Gebot. These are the Holy Ten Commands, based on the Ten Commandments. And the fugue subject has 10 entrances throughout the course of the fugue. So Bach really symbolizing musically the Ten Commandments. So the first 4 are the normal exposition. The next 4 are a little funky. Then there's a bit of development, and the last 2 come in at the end. It's kind of a fun little reminder. And it's very joyful, very upbeat, and they think it might have been Bach's way of symbolizing. I can't remember it exactly, but there's a great Luther quote about finding joy in the Ten Commandments. And then following that, I'll play actually the very next chorale in the book, Wir glauben an einen Gott, a musical setting of the Creed in chorale form. And this is a really fun one. It uses snippets of the chorale melody in imitation between all the voices. And the pedal just gets this fun line. It keeps coming back. It comes in just the same 5-measure pattern, 5.5 measures, and then it goes away for a little bit. Then it comes back with the same thing, maybe in a different key, goes away, comes back in again. And that's the only thing the pedal ever does, is that one snippet, but somehow it all fits together with the rest of the music. So it's extremely well crafted and definitely a fun one. So here's the Ten Commandments. Yes, you can check this one. A lot happening. A lot of voices. Bach?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and so many different textures and different.
Even within the Baroque in which he was trapped.
Yeah, but so much pushing the bounds of that. I mean, the trio sonata sounds so classical, in a sense, I think,
Definitely.
and so so much embracing the Galant style coming after that, but with all of the Bach counterpoint.
Yeah.
You know, it's just incredible, kind of really blending the styles.
I don't see any markings on the music as to which voices you're using. Is that in
Oh,
there?
for the organ?
Yeah.
So that's not in here for this. For Bach, we don't get much indication, but sometimes we do. So for this one, he just says in organo pleno, cantadali, so like for full organ with pedal. And so that just tells us pretty full sound, you know, principles up through the mixture, but doesn't give specific stop indications.
If you were up at Christ and you had huge organs, would you change the settings?
I would definitely use, it would be a very similar concept. It wouldn't be exactly the same stops as here.
Understand.
But just
Yeah.
because it's a different instrument, really. But the concept would be the same,
Okay.
definitely.
So, I don't quite have to ask this other than just to blurt it out.
Mhm.
Are you limited by this organ?
Well, it is a smaller instrument, so I mean, you're limited in the sense that there just aren't the same, just the sheer number of stops. But this organ works very, very well. I mean, we kind of nickname it the Mighty Molar, and for good reason. It's designed, the tonal design is really ingenious, actually. So there's a small number of stops, but a lot of the colors are in the right places, and you can do some really creative things with them. So, like for example, this 1 1/3 on the swell works really nice as a very a bright solo, but then you can also take it down an octave, and you can do something like this down an octave, which gives you a different color combination and a different timbre. And so the same stop we can use it 2 completely different ways, which is really nice. So it's almost like 2 stops in one, right? And same thing, like the swell trumpet is a really nice trumpet. We can use it as a solo trumpet. We can pull the volume back a little bit and we can bring it in and we can have a really nice chorus read, right? Or we can bring it down into the full mix with the pedal and then have it really blending with the full chorus as a nice pedal read, right? So that's 4 different things in one with the swell trumpet. And so having a smaller instrument, it's limiting in a certain sense, but it also inspires our creativity in a certain sense as well, right? And really to kind of maximize the potential of it. And I mean, we had a lot of fun the last program. I mean, I feel like we really used the entire instrument in a lot of different colors, and performed a lot of music that most people probably wouldn't play on an instrument like this, and it was very effective. And just the energy in the wind on this instrument is really nice. Like it's very, what's a good word? Like, it's just very exciting to play. Yeah, the sound really kind of jumps out at you in a sense. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but it's
Sort of responsive.
it's very responsive, yeah, very immediate, very lively sound.
Is that due to the room or due to the organ? Or how much is due to the room
you know,
or the organ?
I think it's due to the organ, but I don't really understand. I don't actually know the physics behind why that would be. I don't know if it's something to do with the wind pressure or how the pipes speak. But I've heard other people say they've played similar instruments by Moeller that are just like boring and flat and, you know, like
Bigger,
the
more
complete
stops.
opposite.
There's another organ someone was telling me about. He said it's not as exciting. I can't remember
Yeah.
where it was. It's
But
somewhere
this-
up near Orange, maybe.
Yeah, but this is designed really nicely, and certainly the room helps too. I mean, the room is a beautiful space. And I love hearing this organ from out in the room.
We would be hearing a different sound down there, but how often do we have a chance to watch? So.
Right, absolutely. To watch and to feel the vibrations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is the trumpet the same here as it say up at Christ?
So there are different types of trumpets. This is really built to be a chorus trumpet. And so we have some of those at the cathedral. We also have the really big chamade trumpets and tubas and things that are built to be more of a solo reed.
Mm-hmm.
But very. It's interesting. We have a lot of trumpets at Christ Cathedral, and I'm not actually sure which would be the closest.
You've answered the question.
Well, maybe this is unique.
So when you play the trumpet, how many pipes are vibrating?
One at a time. And the trumpets, you can actually see on the front. So the one in front is the reed that's in the pedal. So these pipes all in the front in the center here. And you can see how they have those copper wires coming up at the base?
Yeah.
So those control the tuning. And then the trumpet speaks. It actually has, each one has a metal reed in the base of the pipe that vibrates. And vibrates to both sides. A lot like an oboe reed, an oboe or a bassoon. And so that reed, and then the swell one is back behind the shutters, but works the same way. And then the wire goes up and down for tuning to control the pitch. But they sound a lot like brass instruments.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why we call them trumpets or trombones, things like that. Yeah. So I thought we'd end with the Weaver Sine Nomine. Nicholas suggested that. And it's a great setting by an American composer, John Weaver, and it combines so two great tunes for All Saints' Day. So one is the hymn for all the saints. And then the other is Oh When the Saints Go Marching In. And the tunes are a lot like musical versions of each other. So For All the Saints goes down, and When All the Saints Go Marching In goes up. And so he uses them together a lot. So right away on the second page you hear Oh When the Saints Go Marching In the pedal, and For All the Saints kind of with the reed on the right hand. And there's a third hymn tune in here that's a little more obscure called Sarum, that no one really sings, but has been set to the text for All the Saints too. So it's really three tunes in one.
How does that tune go, Emma? I can't remember. What it sounds like.
It's this part with the strings. So I guess it would be like. Something like that. Yeah. I didn't know it until I learned this piece.
Cool.
But yeah, so this is a fun one. It's nice and colorful. It shows off the organ, I think. So, said we're gonna have our trumpet up here.
Do you need me to hit the screen for you, or?
Oh, actually, yes, that would be nice. This is improvised registers. See how we-
very much. Yeah, it is absolutely a fun place.